I introduce Professor Rajiv Mishra. He is a graduate of architecture from Academy of Architecture and postgraduate studies in town and country planning at Government College of Engineering, Pune. He is a recipient of prestigious Netherlands Government Fellowship for Urban Management Studies at the Institute of Housing Studies at Rotterdam, Netherlands. His interest areas are urbanism, community architecture, heritage conservation, and technology in building management, classical arts, and education of architects and planners in a changing society. He has been exploring his field vastly through various research studies, trying to bridge the gap between education and practice. In June 2000, he completed his postgraduate diploma in management of education with reference to architecture institutions from Department of Education, University of Mumbai. He has taught for 22 years with 5 years at Academy of Architecture and 17 years at Sir J.J. College of Architecture. Since 2008, he is the principal of Sir J.J. College of Architecture at University of Mumbai. He is involved in conducting seminars and workshops on subjects related to architecture design, city planning, history and theory of architecture, as well as urban management issues. He has been the chairperson for the course committee of interior design at the University of Mumbai and involved with IIT Mumbai for solar passive architecture education handbook. He has conducted a national seminar on solar passive architecture at Sir J.J. College of Architecture on behalf of the Ministry of Non-Conventional Resources. He has a professional work experience of 20 years and currently works on existing projects as the director of Sir J.J. College of Architecture's consultancy cell. As on today, he is appointed as chairman All India Board of Architecture Education by AICTE, and he is a chairman for the term 2013 and 2016, for chairperson for the term 2013 to 16 for the NBA for Architecture Education, elected executive committee member at Council of Architecture in 2012 and 15, and member for Mumbai's Heritage Conservation Committee and member for State Environment Impact Assessment Authority for Maharashtra. I welcome Professor Mishra to share his views and opinions on the topic.
I'm sure after listening to such wonderful people about wonderful city, you are still waiting to listen more. Like you understood that I am in the occupation of developing minds of people who end up becoming architects. Some of them who like becoming architects and are interested to pursue their career further do post-graduation. Some of them do landscape architecture. And it's great to know that landscape architects have decided to take up a topic through ISOLA on Coastal Road. I think Dr. Modak, about his environment and social framework network, clearly emphasized the need for it, and I think we all strongly support it. Shweta and Hussein have also very nicely expressed their concerns through various NGOs, and most of it have been heard. These concerns are also being addressed at several points. Some of the points that the Coastal Road started at a given time in 2010 has now changed, and it is continuing to change. The Coastal Road peer review committee is in process, and several concerns are being addressed in some way on the principles and matters related to comparative advantages. I, as the head of the School of Architecture, was involved right from the beginning of a thought process when Coastal Road was envisaged as a project under the leadership of the Chief Minister Prithviraj Chauhan. And what had happened was, as soon as he took over as CM, the two major things that was being considered as a major problem of Mumbai city then was water supply and north-south movement, mobility. And a presentation was made to the PM, then Dr. Manmohan Singh, who was also Governor Reserve Bank of India at some time. So that these two things, if tackled at a given time, would become important projects. So I would like to take you through a few instances as to what is it that you were doing to north-south movement and increasing certain resources. Water supply was one of them. So in around 2010, this presentation was made at the airport to the Prime Minister that this is what we need to address. Next, can we go next? And this was what was told to him, that water supply is one of it and we should augment something to do with the burgeoning population. And the second one was the next one. Because I don't want to go into this. So we just wanted to show to you that this is what was the intention, but this did not see the light of the day. Next. This was what was proposed as a project to him. Next. For naturally this. And human beings were traveling like inhuman conditions. This does not show the photograph of the people traveling in local trains. This is only roads. Yeah? So people travel like cockroaches and ants in local trains because they do not know what happens when they travel. Next. And this study of providing road is started since 1961. And this was what came out from the municipal corporation, that these are the following recommendations that happened since 61, but nobody has done anything about it. And it was felt by the municipal commissioner, one Mr. Subodh Kumar, that why not try this coastal road as a project to see to it that a public transport along with car owners could reach a destination from north to south in a minimum possible time. And that is how it all started. So I don't want to give you the details of what studies happened, but this is not a project that started in 2010. This is not a project that started in 2005. This project as a study is being discussed since 1961. And Subodh Kumar was given the authority by the CM to let us try to see what best we can do to a given situation. And a concept idea was being floated. The committee was formed, and I would like you to know the committee members who were invited, besides the principal of JJ College of Architecture, the post that I was occupying then. Some of the eminent people were the architects of the city. We had Mr. Chandrasekhar Prabhu, we had Mr. P.K. Das. Besides them, we had scientists from National Institute of Oceanography. We had members of the Environment Committee, Nalini Bhatt. But I don't want to give you the names of all, but we would like you to know that the intention was good. The intention of the government was to see how we could reduce the problem of the city. It was also found out that the density of Mumbai was a big challenge. No city, no metropolitan city has a challenge like a Mumbai city when it comes to density. We all know New York does not promote car usage because they have fantastic metro system, they have very good public transport system. In fact, people who use cars, they use it only on weekends to go out of New York City. But they have a very nice public transport system. So when Delhi density was compared to Calcutta and it was compared to Madras when it came to metropolitan cities, it was found out that Mumbai had issues related to expansion of land because reclamation, as you know, is banned for last 25 years, which is correct. And how do we tackle it? So the other way was to improve the east-west network of transportation, which I think Versova to Ghatkopar Metro has done a bit. And people looked towards transport projects as an infrastructure project that could make a difference, if not improve the lives of people in the city. In fact, when more than 60% of population lives in squatter settlements and slums in inhuman way, and the population is increasing, okay, no city has the privilege of having more than 60% of the population living in slums. Bombay city being so inhuman to the people, where even the schemes, slum rehabilitation schemes were also discussed, which are actually having its own problems. In spite of that, they are not going to other cities. And this was the problem of the PM and the CM then. So why is it that people love to come to stay in slums of Bombay? Because they get a free house? And then it was realized, no, it is because the maximum number of opportunities that is ever happening in any city in the country is in Mumbai. The number of jobs that was growing in Bombay was more than the number of people migrating to it. A study was done. TIS was surprised to know this. TIS said, we will do study on slums and we'll improve the conditions of life. Now, why I'm talking to you about the condition of people is because the greatest difficulty people faced to come from western suburbs to Churchgate was through local trains. And one of the method was to build a good public transportation system. Now the coastal road also is promoting BRTS as a project on it. What is being thought that it is only people for cars who will be able to use it are wrong. It is not only for car owners. I think this is one of the myths, and this is one of the report findings. I think what was thought of it as, what is being said of it now, what will happen to it later is a part of the process. It is just that what is being said and what is being known about this project report is going through the transformation and metamorphosis, and we ought to know as architects that we are free to opine, we are free to give our comments, we are free to make it better, and nobody is stopping us from doing that. But when it comes to an idea of a transport project, and if we all decide to oppose it because it is causing problem to the livelihoods of fishermen community, if it is causing a problem to the ecology, I would like you to know that these projects that are coming up cannot go ahead unless these issues are addressed. All right? So ecological problem of losing the beach like we lost one at Shivaji Park may soon happen to Juhu is something that is being a matter of concern, but it should not happen is also being considered and seen to it that Juhu beach does not meet the fate of Shivaji Park beach, of course. These are being concerned. Nobody is going to allow you to do that. And therefore, I feel Dr. Prasad Modak's presentation, which says of ESNA, becomes very important in such a case. And the government should actually do a report to see to it that though it goes ahead with development, though development coexists with the issues related to the city, it should also be answerable to these problems which are being spoken about. But when most of the cities in the world of the developing economies are going ahead, and if transportation is becoming a problem, why not work on it in some way? Why not come up with ideas in some way? Why not improve it if it is not up to the mark? Why not make it better so that we meet the needs of the requirements that we are working towards? Okay, so this is how it had started. Next, can we go next? I'll be very quick. We all have to have a tea break. This is the current situation of the waterfront. The picture is not very nice, but that's all right. We will take care of it. The fishermen are actually working towards their livelihood, but they are also causing slums. They love to make squatter settlements and qualify for a free house. But the problem is not that. The problem is the government or the municipal corporation. We can always blame anybody for it. Nobody, something's wrong somewhere, So what got us here will not get us anywhere else. So we have to get cracking to see that we do something about it so that we don't end up just by trying to find solutions to a